So, another day in paradise or European jungle. I stopped on my way to where I'm digging the channel to divert this little stream, because here is basically the place where it is already too deep and I need to move this little river to be flowing through here, hence raising its level so I can make a little lake or something like that exactly right in my property. So this is the mission. I could probably just dig a deeper hole and pump my way out of there, but that requires electricity, which I don't have. I have one little solar panel, so that would definitely not work. So this is the mission. It's already third video of a mini-series mission to find me water, and so let's go get right to it. So before digging any deeper, I'm inspecting what changed since yesterday, and the channel is holding. Look, there is a little frog. She might get to the video. Can you see her? Wow, beautiful. Frogs are already liking it. And yeah, this way, I don't know how many meters, but a lot of meters I need to dig. Let's see what we got. So basically, I have a feeling I'm digging unnecessarily too deep, because it's a fresh channel. The water is still kind of sinking into the soil, and I assume that it will slowly fill up. So I probably have to make a little break. It really feels like too much work for one person without excavator. You know, if I would come here with a big machine, I would totally do it, but it's not my land, you know. So I have to be careful and kind of minimalistic. Good, so I let the water do its work. I have to wait because it's still soaking, and I really believe that if I come back in few hours, there will be basically more water. It will get further into the channel, and so now I will be digging unnecessarily deep, creating too much of a slope, and maybe like in 1/3 what needs to be digged until it gets kind of steeper again, and then I will be just making a nice little channel, you know, 10 centimeters deep, just to kind of navigate the water. But it might be my wishful thinking, because look, it must go through all of this. So yeah, it is total mission impossible. Let's see how it goes. Now I have to climb a local hill to check my emails and stuff. I'm running a real estate firm, so check the links in the description if you're interested in buying a little house somewhere in Serbian or Bulgarian countryside. I am in your service. And yeah, that's how it goes. Improving my properties, helping other people to find their amazing place under the sun. So don't be shy, get in touch, and we'll go back to my little channel in a while. And so this is my spot. This is where, if you write me an email or comment on the video, I'll most likely answer you from. So I'm hotspotting Might not be visible. I have a screensaver on, but sometimes I'm sitting here searching something, what the weather is gonna be like, or responding to emails, and a deer comes or rabbit. It's really interesting times we're living in, where you can be basically online out in the mountains. So that's pretty cool. So I have good news and bad news. I guess I should start with the bad news, and that is that the water stopped here and it's not going through my channel anymore further than when I left, which basically makes the whole project useless. And that is basically the good news. I realized it now, not after hundreds of meters of digging for no reason. So we're gonna go back to the reservoir, make a little investigation on what's wrong with that pipe, and that will be the final determination of if these attempts are feasible at all. And if this fails, then I have to totally redo the thinking. It's probably gonna have to be drilling a well as the only solution, or connecting to the village source, which requires probably years of negotiations, and for that I still have a lot of time. Here we have the very source of the water I'm trying to bring in to my property. As you can see, it is more than plenty. Here my Hoover Dam that actually still works. You see here the channel, there's plenty of water, and it goes to the reservoir from where the pipes are going somehow somewhere, and we're gonna go and investigate where is the problem. Another potential solution would be to build a house right here, right? But yeah, it is a little bit too much of the civilization, and it is not my property. It will be interesting project to build a little hut around here, but there is wild pigs coming for this water, so it's not really so safe even to be around here. You know, it's pretty damn wild. I can actually still see the reservoir, and here we have the pipe. I really don't know what can be wrong. It's quite light, so maybe the water is just not coming in. I guess I'll have to do a little cleanup to see what happens. So upon my inspection, nothing really seems to be out of ordinary. The only thing is, when I try to lift the pipe, it feels really light. Of course, I don't imagine that it will be full of water. There would be like just constant small flow. So it's really hard to say if there is any water in it or not. I might have to expose the rest of the pipe to kind of see what's up. But yeah, it's a mystery, honestly. Good, so I have located the pipe, but it is another set of bad news, honestly. Basically, I am calling this mission a failure. There's nothing I can do really without spending a lifetime here. So the plastic pipe is in the concrete itself. I would have to cut it to see if I have any water flow at all, or if it's just gonna like float away, the water level drops, and it's just gonna be like such a small amount of water that it's not really worth it. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna call it mission failure, because it is too much work for uncertain results basically. But I wanted to try this before I put any money on the table and invest into some more sophisticated systems, which in my opinion would be drilling a well with a machine. That costs something, obviously. I would have to make a nice runway for somebody with the machine to come and drill, and then of course you need to get the water out of the well. So it's either a hand pump, which doesn't give you much. You're again transporting water with buckets. So I would either have to connect to the grid so I can run a pump, or I would have quite big set of solar panels that can make up for enough energy to run a pump. So it's kind of a stalemate. I don't know what to do, knowing how the things are. Basically, all this that I have been doing in last 2 videos uh, didn't work, which, it's part of the game. Not every attempt is always a success, and I'm glad to share with you also the failures, because it's part of life. Something magical just happened, guys. I still cannot believe it. I better sit down to tell you the story, because I was going down to my car where I normally get the water and bring in buckets back here, and that's where my neighbor has his house, and he is connected to the same reservoir. So we started chatting, and I told him my struggles, how for days I'm digging channels, building dams, and trying to make it work again. And out of curiosity, we opened the valve on his house, like a garden valve, and the water started running. I was in disbelief. He even more. 8 years they didn't have no water. Now I made it happen. Yeah, so my neighbor has water, if nothing. But the story is not finished. So we are looking at it, now he wants to close it. His valve stops working for some reason, it was not open for 8 years. So he had to basically figure out a solution, So I'm like, well, you must have some central ventil, no? To like, yeah, it's here, but there is pile of wood on top of it, So I was like, well, then let's just close the central ventil for everybody, And so we did. And slowly the water stops running, We finished our chat. I'm going back home. And as I'm nearing my place, I hear water. I really hear water. And I've heard this. I mean, isn't it crazy? So it was successful. I have water in the kitchen, in the bathroom, even though there is no kitchen and bathroom. But I already have plans to build it now, because this is insane. I got water at least seasonally, which is massive. The biggest downside of this property was that there is no water. 5 years. Last year I bought another house to get me water. It's insane. And now finally, it's running. Yeah! So I feel like the richest man in the world right now, honestly. It's indescribable feeling. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this mini series or any other of my videos. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe to my channel. There'll be more interesting videos coming your way.